So we're in the book of purification and prayers. We're going to start talking about wudu first in terms of purification. So they call the wudu in English ablution. Ablution means to wash a part of the body or to wash all of the body. And ablution also can be a religious washing. And the religious definition of wudu is washing specific organs with an intention. Yeah, so religiously, wudu is the washing of specific organs with an intention, as opposed to a ghusl. What's a ghusl? Ghusl is washing the entire outer body with an intention, not specific organs. That's why when it comes to a ghusl, you can start with any part of your body because the whole body is like one piece in the ghusl. But for wudu, you wash specific organs, and the evidence, according to the Shafi'is, proves that you have to put those organs in a particular order. We'll see what we have here. So now the wudu, it is a condition of prayer. That means it's not a part of the prayer, but it's needed for the prayer to be valid. Being a condition of prayer means that it needs to be before the prayer. Uh, yes, needs to be before the prayer. Uh, so it's a condition of prayer, and it has its own integrals and conditions. Wudu, it's a condition of prayer, and it still itself has its own integrals and conditions. So actually, wudu is an independent worship. It's an independent worship with the meaning that you can do it just for itself. No. Um. Yes. Yeah. A statement about what the wudu is. The wudu is a condition of prayer, and it's a condition for other things too, like tawaf around the Kaaba. Yes. And the meaning of being a condition for prayer is that it has to be confirmed before the prayer. Uh, But then I said it has its own integrals and conditions. And the point of saying it has its own integrals and conditions is to point out that the wudu is an independent worship. And when we say it's in, yeah, the point of pointing out that it has integrals and conditions, it has its own integrals and conditions, is to demonstrate that wudu is an independent worship. It stands on its own as a worship. Worship. Yes. Or act if you want, act of worship. Mm, yes. So if it's an independent worship and sought for itself, this means you can just do wudu even if you don't want to pray. So wudu is different from tayammum in this case. Because tayammum, you don't do it unless the emergency warrants you doing it. Wudu is not like that. Wudu, you can just do it if you want to do it as a worship and get the reward for it, even if you're not going to pray. In fact, staying on wudu is high worship. Something has a lot of secrets in it. Yeah, staying on it, not just having it, staying on wudu. Meaning, soon as you break it, you make it again. Soon as you wake up, you make wudu. Soon as you finish going to the bathroom, you make wudu. If you do anything that breaks your wudu, you make it again, and so you can always be on wudu. This one, if you can manage to do that for an extended time, uh, that's something special there. But if you do make a wudu just for itself, then know that you should not make another wudu without using the first one to pray. You should not make another wudu without using the first one to pray. And actually, If you make wudu, you should pray with that wudu, even just 2 rakats. That's better. But you don't have to. Wudu is a worship that can be sought just for itself. But it is recommended for you, if you do make wudu, that you should pray with that wudu. Like, meaning, what if you're a person who just makes wudu? So you made wudu and you want to break your wudu soon. Like, you say, I'm going to have to go to the bathroom. And let's say it's not urgent. You're not like fighting the urge, but you know you're going to break your wudu soon. Then you might just want to pray 2 rakats, just so you can use that wudu for prayer before you break it. That would be good. And wudu has 6 integrals according to Ash-Shafi'i. This number 6 is not a condition. Some schools have more integrals, some schools have less integrals. Shafi'i counts 6 integrals. 4 of them are mentioned in the Quran, and 2 of them he got them from the Hadiths. As for the Quran, Allah says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم. O those who have believed, if you stand to pray, then wash your faces. وأيديكم إلى المرافق, and your hands up to the elbows. وامسحوا برؤوسكم, and wipe your heads. وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين, and wash your feet up to the ankles. So that's 4 things. Wash your faces, wash your arms, your hands and arms up to the elbows. Wipe your heads, wash your feet to the ankles. That's 4 things. And the order, the intention, the proof for the intention is from the hadith. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. The deeds are by the intention. So that proves that the intention is needed. It's an integral, uh, and the order, keeping these integrals of wudu in order, that comes from a hadith too, uh, which is that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ibda'u bima bada Allahu bih." Start with whatever Allah started. So here in the ayah of wudu, Allah started with washing the face. So you have to do that first, meaning with the intention. And wash the arms, then wash the arms, so that's second. Then wipe the head, so that's third, etc. And some other schools, they have more integrals or less integrals. So inshallah, if we get a chance to do some comparative fiqh, we can see what did some of the other schools say. Now, the first out of 6 integrals is to make the intention, which is the niyyah. And the niyyah, according to Ash-Shafi'i, must be simultaneous with commencing the deed, must be at the point of starting the deed, except for fasting. In the case of fasting, it's valid to have the intention before starting the deed. And for anything else, you have to have the intention when you are starting the deed. So for the prayer, you have to have the intention when you say Allahu Akbar. For the wudu, you have to have the intention when the water touches your face. For the ghusl, you have to have the intention when the water touches some part of your body. For zakat, you have to have the intention when you separate your money from the rest of your money. As for fasting, the intention is from Maghrib until Fajr. And it's not even valid to make the intention right at the crack of dawn. So you need to have the niyyah, the intention. Not a decision, not a prior decision. A prior decision is like if you said in your heart, I'm going to go make wudu. then that's not valid according to a Shafi'i for your wudu. With the meaning that when you say in your heart, I'm going to go make wudu, and then if you got to the water and you put the water on your face, you don't remember your intention at all. That's not valid according to a Shafi'i. So the decision to do something before doing it, or having the resolve to do it before doing it, that's not a niyyah according to a Shafi'i. Now, what is this intention? This intention is like intending to perform purification for prayer. There's several intentions you could make. Intending to perform purification for prayer. So when the water touches your face, in your heart, you say, now I intend purification for prayer. Without having to imagine words, it's not like you have to have an imaginary neon sign with the words passing through your heart. When I say your intention would be purification for prayer, this doesn't mean your intention is to imagine yourself saying these words in your heart. Rather, this intention of purification for prayer is something that you can do it in one instant, in 1 second. What is valid? Also, what is valid? The mere intention of wudu. Meaning, if when you were making wudu and the water touched your face and your heart, you said wudu. And the meaning is, now I do wudu. That's valid. Even if you don't intend the obligation, meaning, even if you just intend wudu and you didn't intend to do obligatory wudu, that's valid too. In your heart, when the water touches your face, if you said in your heart, now I do obligatory wudu, that's valid. But it's also valid if you said, when the water touched your face, now I do wudu. Or his intention can be to lift the minor religious impurity. To lift the minor religious impurity. That means to make wudu. Or his intention can be to permit something that requires wudu. Anything that requires wudu, if he makes the intention to permit anything that requires wudu, then he has valid wudu and he can pray with that wudu. So it means if he makes wudu so he can touch the mushaf, he can pray with this wudu. Uh, yeah, or for some other reason. Mushaf is the book of the Quran. Like if his intention was to make wudu so he can give the khutbah on Friday, or his intention was to make wudu so he can circle the Kaaba. So intending to do anything, intending to do what makes something that requires wudu permissible is a valid intention, even if you don't do that thing. Like if in your heart you said, now I do what makes tawaf valid, and you're not even going to go make tawaf right now around the Kaaba, still valid. Or any equivalent intention like making prayer permissible. Okay. Yes. With the meaning of, let's say a person standing under the shower and the water is running over his face. So as long as he doesn't make an intention, then there's no purification happening here. So once he makes the intention while the water is touching his face, then at that point his wudu starts. Yes. Yes, because according to a Shafi'i, the first one wasn't an intention. According to a Shafi'i, the first one was basically, we're going to use a different word, it was a decision. So the decision is not valid according to a Shafi'i. Decision here means that before he actually did something, he had in his heart that he was going to do it. So he decided, but he didn't do it yet. So a decision is not valid. If when he actually goes to make the wudu, if when he puts the water to his face, he has no recollection of his intention at all, then it's not valid. If this is difficult for a person, then he can follow the Maliki school. According to Malik, The decision is valid if it's just briefly before the act. Now, the second integral is to wash the entire face. Excuse me, the outside of your face. So when we say you have to wash the outside, means we're not talking about in your nostrils, in your mouth. And we're not, yeah, and you don't have to wash under your eyelids, for example. So you have to wash your outside, the outside of your face. And doing the mouth and the nose is sunnah. Uh, and what is the face? The face is from the normal hairline to the chin. That's length. The length of the face is from the normal hairline to the chin. The chin is where the jawbones fuse. And of the the width of the face is from the ear to the ear. So the length of the face is from the normal hairline to the chin, and the width of the face is from the ear to the ear, not including the ear. The ear itself is part of the head. So from the ear to the ear, not including the ears. Okay. Now you should know, this is nice to know, that when you make wudu, you have to wash through all of the hair except sometimes. All of the hair, I'm talking about anywhere, except sometimes, not anywhere. All of the hair, I'm talking about the arms, you have to get through all the hair. The feet up to the ankles, if there's a lot of hair on your foot, you need to get through there. But not always. Sometimes you don't have to. So then, let's learn about the facial hairs to give us a better idea of what we have to do and what we don't have to do. So there's 17 facial hairs. The first one, we'll start with the mustache. The mustache is the strip of hair that grows over your top lip. So you have to wash through that, even if it's thick. Then you have the anfaqah. That's the tuft of hair that grows under your lower lip. The tuft of hair that grows under your lower lip. So the water needs to get through there too, means down to the skin. Then you have the two strips of hair over your eyes. Those are your eyebrows. Two strips of hair over your eyes. So also those, if they're thick, you still need to wash through them down to the skin. And so that's four so far. One is mustache. Two is the anfaqa. Some people call it soul patch. 3 and 4 are the two eyebrows. Then 5 through 8 are 4 rows of eyelashes. Because you have 4 eyelids. Each eyelid has hairs on its edge. So the 4 rows of eyelashes, those are part of your facial hair too. If Allah created you with thick eyelashes, you need to wash through those too. 9 and 10, the integral is washing the face. The integral itself is washing the face. Now we're talking about facial hair, the hair on the face. And basically the question is, do I have to make the water penetrate the hair on my face and get down to the skin? Or is it enough for me just to wash over it? The answer is that he has to make sure the water gets through to the skin, except sometimes. And that except is what we're looking for now. So we're mentioning what are the facial hairs that the scholars said, and we're also looking for When you don't have to wash through the hair down to the skin, and it's enough just to wash the outside. There's 17 hairs, and so far we said the mustache, you have to wash through that down to the skin. We said the anfaqa under the bottom lip, you have to wash through that down to the skin. The two eyebrows, you have to wash through those down to the skin. The 4 rows of eyelashes, you have to wash through those down to the skin. So that's 8 so far. And 9 and 10 are the sideburns. The sideburns are the 2 strips of hair that come down from your temple to your jawline. The hair that runs from your temple to your jawbone, to your jaw, the hinge of your jaw. And it runs right next to your ear. So the sideburns run right next to the ear from the temple to the jaw, to the hinge of the jaw, yani, which is the jaw itself. This one too, you need to wash through it, down to the skin. And not just that, actually. Also, uh, important for the women in particular. A lot of times, the women tuck their sideburns behind their ears when they have long hair. And then they make wudu without pulling those sideburns out from behind your ears so that the water can get on them. This is not valid wudu. So that's important case there. A woman or a man even has long sideburns. So the hair from the temple to the jaw that runs alongside the ear. And this person, like this woman, when she wants to put her scarf on, she tucks her sideburn behind her ear. Then when she makes wudu, she doesn't pull it back out from behind her ear. So that's like missing a spot. It is missing a spot. The facial hair is like the face. Yani is part of the face. You have to wash the facial hairs and uh, penetrate them down to the skin, except sometimes. This is for a man or a woman. The sideburn is the hair from the temple down to the jaw, and it runs alongside the ear. And some women and men too, but a lot of times going to be the women, especially since they need to put scarf on, so they're going to like put their hair secure and then put their scarf on. Uh, but could happen to a man too if he has long sideburns. That this person would tuck his sideburns behind his ears and then forget to pull them out when he makes wudu. You have to wash those sideburns. It's like part of your. It is part of your face. It grows out of your face. All these hairs we're talking about, they grow out of your face, so they have the judgment of washing your face. This is clear. Then there are 2 tufts of hair that grow on your cheeks, which is just your cheek hair. The cheek hair. So the cheek hair is not part of the beard. Even though his cheek hair might be, one's cheek hair might be like part of, it looks like it's part of his beard. Like, what's that guy's name? Rick Ross? Looks like he has a beard strap on. So it has all there, his sideburns, his cheek hair, everything. His mustache, his anfaqas, all like one piece. But religiously, it's not all one piece. So all the different segments I'm telling you, they have their judgment, even if it is one piece on your face. And 13 and 14 are the 2 strips of hair that come down from the edge of your mustache to your chin. So the mustache goes over the top lip. Then the mustache could have at its corners, 2 corners, a hair that just goes down to the chin. Then, Yani, if a person just preserves his mustache and those two hairs and the hair on his chin, that's what they call a goatee. So those two there, that's right beside his lips, on the sides of his lips, those two also, you have to wash through them down to the skin. Now, as you know, a man does not have to wash his through his thick beard. A man does not have to wash through his thick beard. What does thick mean? And what actually does beard mean, even? So, the word they use for beard in Arabic is lihya. The lihya, the beard, this is the chin hair. The chin hair. So, if the chin hair were thick, then it's enough just to wash over it. You don't have to wash through it. And if the chin hair were thin, then you have to wash through it down to the skin. And again, what does it mean to be thick? Well, maybe I didn't say. What it means to be thick is that you cannot see the skin beneath that hair at a normal conversation distance. Then there's still two more. So up until now, we got up to 15 out of 17. There's still two more hairs, which are the two strips of hair that run on your jawbone. So you have a hair that goes down your jaw, and you have on one side, and you have hair that goes down your jaw on the other side too. So then you still have two more strips of hair. The hair that runs on your jawline. So goes from the jaw to the chin. This one also, if it's thick, you can just wash over top of it. So which ones you don't have to wash through? The chin hair and the jaw hair, if they are thick. If the chin hair and the jaw hair are thick, you don't have to wash through those. You can just wash over them. For a man only, not for a woman. Even if a woman had thick beard like a man, she has to wash through it, all of it, down to the skin, because it's rare. So I just want to back up, excuse me, and connect for you. From your temple down to your jaw, from your temple down to your jaw, alongside your ear, that's a sideburn. Then from the jaw to the chin, that's the jawbone hair. And then the chin itself has its hair. So those three segments right there. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك